They basically collect your sample, wash it, spin it, clean it.
Do they grab his stuff too?
Yeah. Does
he have to go in the bathroom and handle business?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you get a little freebie.
You got to go 2 days in a row.
He gets 2 days in a row?
2 days in a row to go do his thing.
Gentlemen, go this route.
Yeah. I was like, did you have fun in there? Do you have like a favorite category at this point?
Did they hand him a magazine or did he get his iPhone?
It's old school like VCR.
Oh man.
From what I remember.
That's hard.
Yeah.
No pun intended. At the end of the day, nobody fucking cares. All right, I am Andre Huseman and we are here at the infamous podcast, Nobody Cares. What I figured that nobody cares, but we're still going to put this stuff out there. Today, I have a special guest, friend of mine, and also someone who comes to my business, Box House, Erin Pirro. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited for a couple different reasons. You know, I started this podcast for a few different reasons, but more importantly, I want to get your story out there. I want to get other mom stories out there, and everything from, you know, hey, I found out I got pregnant to I lost my baby, you know, and we've been trying for, 3 years straight, in every story in between. And we've talked briefly just as friends about the hardships you've had of getting pregnant. We've talked about the trials and tribulations of the emotional imbalances that may occur or that have occurred in your life with having a baby. And then we've also talked about all the glorious and fun stuff and happy stuff that children really bring to our lives. So I want to wrap all that into this story, and I'm really excited to have you here. And I want to just fucking dive right into it, because that's these people don't have time.
All right,
they want the juice. They want all the smoke right now. So we're gonna get right into it. So Erin has how many kids?
Two boys.
2 boys. And how old are the boys?
8 weeks and 2.5 years.
And we have Axel. And
Axel and Rome.
He's the oldest. And then we have Rome. How old is Axel again?
2.5.
And then we have Rome. How old is he?
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Still in my postpartum
Come here real quick.
phase.
Stand up real quick. Look, this is 8 weeks.
Okay.
8 weeks postpartum right
Box
here.
House.
Yeah, Box House. Shout out. We're going to plug in Box House from time to time. That's incredible. You've had 2 pregnancies, right? Both were different in many ways from what I remember.
Totally different.
But I want to go from the beginning with Axel, right? You have your husband, Alex, right? You guys have been married for how long now?
It'll be 8 years in October. Got married in 2015. And then decided like 5 years down the line, like, okay, turning 30, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
I never thought like I necessarily wanted to have kids. Wasn't super maternal.
Right.
The first diaper I changed was Axel's ever. So
Same.
yeah, I was like, we'll see. I wasn't opposed, but I wasn't like, absolutely, we got to do this. So when I turned 30, I think probably like most women, I was like, all right, if we're going to do this, we should at least start to talk about it, think about it, have conversations.
What was that conversation like? Was Alex like, yeah, dude, I'm down, or let's just map this thing out? You two, I know you obviously better than I know him, but he seems like a pretty switched on man.
Planner.
You're right. Like, let's just make sure our ducks are in a row.
Yeah.
You are too.
Yeah.
What I found with children and kids, and like, you can't really fucking plan that shit.
Not at all with
The
kids.
more you plan, the less that's going to happen. So the conversation with you and Alex, what was that like?
They say you make a plan and God laughs. And so I was like trying to like plan out everything, thought, okay, I'm going to turn 30. We're going to try this. It's going to be easy, fun, sexy, right? Like everyone thinks making a baby sexy.
Yeah.
So we were going to practice for a long time and like, just see how it went. And a year and a half into it, once we made kind of that decision, and it was casual, he was super supportive, like whatever you want. Yes, I want kids. You want kids. We had no idea like how many or where we're going to go from there, but like, let's just give this a try. And it was not happening. Like not as in my timeline and like how quickly I thought it was going.
And for the viewers, when you're saying not happening, what does that mean? Like you just weren't getting pregnant.
Yeah. So I was trying all the things, and there's like a lot, as most women know, that you can try. Like there's fertility apps, there's basal temperature. You can take your temperature every day. There's ovulation sticks where you're actually like urinating on a, stick. You're
fucking trying everything.
And that's stressful in itself. Cause after 6 months, you're like, all right, we're doing this. We're calculating it, at a certain time each month. I'm sure, guys know what that pressure is like. We're both trying to like bring our A game.
Is it me? Is it you? For sure.
All these things. And like, we don't have that internal view of what's going on. So you're just like hoping that you're even ovulating enough for that to be happening.
Right.
So like a year and a half goes by and we're both getting a little like defeated, frustrated.
Right. Let's talk about defeated just real quick. Well, not real quick. I want to dive into that because being defeated in the sense of, it's not like me in the boxing ring losing a fight. That's different. Being defeated emotionally, spiritually, maybe a disconnect with your partner. I've seen that happen too with couples. Was there a disconnect? Well, there's ever a time like you're not blaming him, he's not blaming you, but there's something between us that's not clicking.
Yeah.
Did you have those conversations and kind of like,
yeah,
you know?
Well, I think it's hard whenever like you're put in a position where you want something and then I had, for the first time, it felt like ever, no control over it. Like
correct.
His body, my body, both kind of in perfect unison at the same time, trying to make something happen. And, you know, we're trying to work and like live our daily lives, do our daily activities, but try to, you know, really, it felt like start to force something to happen that we didn't want it to be that way.
Right.
So I think although he was super supportive of it, I started to get down on myself. Like something's not working. Like this is not what I thought it was going to be. This is not sexy. This is not fun.
It's not like high school where they said, hey, use a condom, you'll get pregnant.
Yeah, exactly.
You grow up like that and you're like, dude, if I even fucking put something in this girl.
Yeah. It's happened. 9
months later, I got a problem, and I'm only 17 years old.
Yeah.
Fast forward to someone like myself in their late 30s, and at the time when we got pregnant, I was in my mid 30s, and along with my wife too as well. Like it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
That storyline that I heard in high school, maybe it was a different time. Maybe it's 20 years later. Totally. Our bodies are different. They're not as responsive to getting pregnant, but it's not as easy as people think. Like, oh, we're just going to get pregnant. It's like the more I've heard those stories, the less people have had the opportunity to get pregnant.
Right.
And so you guys have tried for a year and a half.
A year and a half, yeah. Before you go and seek professional help, typically they want to see that you've tried for a year. Right. They want to make sure like you're doing all of the things you kind of bring and like present to them your situation, like your problem before you like seek out external help. Right. So it was at that point I was like, okay, I know you don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this, but like we got to go talk to someone about this. And I remember just being like, I want someone in my corner, like medically and professionally, that's looking on the insides and like our bodies holistically to be like, this is what is going on. And I wanted there to be a problem so that we could fix it.
Right.
That's something we could identify.
Yeah.
And there wasn't. We went through, interviewed a few different doctors, didn't know what process we were going to need to go, which route. There's a few options now, and didn't like the first doctor, made me feel really just not great. Okay. You also sit down with some of these doctors and you look at your numbers and like really the ideal window to have kids is like not lining up with where society's at right now.
It's really small.
It's really small. And it's like when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, like that's when women are most fertile. Right. And I'm in no position to have a baby at 21. Yeah. So there's like a misalignment in kind of your body's there. So I was feeling still super defeated by some of those conversations, then found a doctor that I really liked. And he was like, let's try this. Like, I see where you're going. We tested my body, we tested his body, everything kind of going on. Right. Unexplained infertility is what they call it. Right. Nothing like alarming. Well, let's try this. And I remember for the first time I was like, oh my gosh, like someone gets it. Like a medical professional gets it. There's an option. Yeah. Let's
talk about those options. You said there one or two options.
Two options that he had presented: IUI, intrauterine insemination, being like the first, kind of less invasive, less expensive. Okay. More like, let's try this. Typically people try IUIs like anywhere from 1 to 10 times. There's about a 7 to 10%.
Is the IUI sort of a first line defense? Like, hey, let's go this route?
Yeah, if everything checks out, looks good, like let's set up your body for the perfect scenario to get pregnant. It's still gonna be you, we're gonna do everything inside, but we're going to basically control that environment for you. Right. And so that means that you're, getting hormone injections, checking levels, medication.
Does he have to do that too, or is that just you?
Just me. Yeah.
It's always just you guys.
Yeah, it's always.
It's never fucking us.
He had to go in and do his thing.
Yeah, of course. But it's never really us. It's always you guys.
Yeah.
I know.
It's all the work.
So there's two options. You just listed one. Ballpark price. What are we looking at for the viewers?
Ours was about $3,000, like all said and done. So definitely less expensive than IVF.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about IVF, just from curriculum standpoint, right? People want to know, what is IVF?
Yeah, so that's in vitro fertilization, and although I didn't have to go that route, and I'm really grateful, I had tons of friends that have, and so I understand kind of the hardship of that not working and being out, anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 each round.
That's 10 to 20. Okay. IVF 10 to 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes insurance helps out, or companies. Sometimes it doesn't. So you could be out of
That damn
pocket
insurance.
with no guarantee of a baby.
Insurance companies, what a fucking scam. Man. What a scam.
So that's added pressure on top of everything.
Yeah.
So I'm getting away with potentially 3,000, but how many times am I going to have to do this?
Right.
At 10 times, I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch to IVF, if we're going to do this.
30 G's, I might as well have done.
Yeah.
And then someone's going to go the IVF route over the IAU route for what reason?
The IUIs aren't working. I think the doctors are going to work with you, do a few chances, and just see is your body going to take to this process? Are you a good candidate for it or not? And I don't think there's any way of knowing until that actually happens.
And the position that you guys took was the first one you talked about. Do you get to choose the gender? Do you guys get to choose
Nothing.
eye color? How does
No.
It's not like going on build a car.
No. I wish, but no.
You can't build a fucking.
Luckily, my kids are cute, but.
Yes. Yeah, you do have cute kids.
But no, basically, they're going to go in, they're going to monitor you, they're going to make sure that I'm dropping eggs, they're going to make sure that I'm ovulating, they're going to make sure that I'm getting all of my hormone levels, exactly where they need to be to just set up the perfect environment to get pregnant.
Wow. Is there pressure?
There's a lot of pressure.
For who?
I think for me. Again, it's my body as the vessel performing.
All this is you.
Yeah, it's his money.
Of course.
And his time.
Of course.
He's going with me to donate and do his thing.
Right.
But I ultimately just felt it wasn't even any outside pressure from him, but I just felt the responsibility and the financial obligations each time to I want this to work for us, for our family. And
I feel like a sense of, in the position that you're in, that you were in, and there's a lot of women that are currently in that position, maybe 2 or 3 months, making a decision whether it's IVF or AIU, trying to pick and choose the pressure that it puts on a woman. At some point, do women feel like something's wrong with me?
Absolutely. I think anytime,
that sense of pressure, it's I can't get pregnant, I can't do this, I can't hold a baby. Maybe I got pregnant, I can only hold for 10 to 11 weeks. That sense of you're discouraged, is that a real thing?
Yeah, I have had so many friends that have unfortunately miscarried and have shared those stories with me, but I still have people reach out all the time, tell me about your IUI. I've lost a baby, or I'm really interested in this route. I can't get pregnant. So by sharing and talking about it, even though I felt a little bit of initial shame about it, I feel has kind of built a community around it and kind of being a resource that I wish I had during that time. Because there's such a slim chance of IUI working. It's 7 to 10% each cycle. So people want to hear the positive stories, the ones that worked. And there are not very many of them.
We're here to talk about the positive and the negative.
Yeah.
So you did multiple, can we say rounds? Is that the right term?
We did 1 session, 2 rounds. I'll never forget. It was Halloween weekend.
October
30th and 31st.
19? Okay, 2019 October. You guys found out that it sort of stuck. Was it
we
the second, third, fourth one?
No, it was the first time we go in. They basically collect your sample, wash it, spin it, clean it.
Did they grab his stuff too?
Yeah. He was.
Does he have to go in the bathroom and handle business?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you get a little free.
You got to go 2 days in a row.
He gets 2 days in a row?
2 days in a row to go do his thing.
Gentlemen, go this route.
Yeah. I was like, did you have fun in there? Do you have a favorite category at this point?
Did they hand him a magazine or did he get his iPhone?
It's old school VCR.
Oh, man.
From what I remember.
That's hard.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep it going.
Yeah.
So it sticks.
Yeah. So they go in there, they intrauterine insemination, kind of put it up, the sperm is as far up into your system as it needs to be, and kind of just set it up, make you sit there, wait, basically, okay, have a great day. We're going to call you in 2 weeks, just like you would in any normal situation. You don't find out for about 2 weeks that it's implanted and that it's worked.
There's a fun fact about you that day.
Yeah.
I saw you. Yeah. You saw me. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I went out. I was kind of, down, a little bit nervous about what was going on. And I figured if I have to wait 2 weeks, that's a long time when you're waiting for something, kind of sweating it out. I'm going to just be myself, live it up, do what I need to do until something happens, something changes. So the girls, my girlfriends from home, took me out. We went to R&D, and I remember I ordered a drink. The doctor said I could drink, kind of live my life as normal. And I was like joking with the waitress, and I was like, I'll have a margarita. They're my favorite here, and I could be like 6 hours pregnant. So, give it to me. So we had a few drinks, dinner, and then as we were leaving, you were there having a box house dinner, I think, with one of the
David,
client, friend. And so we ran into you guys, and, I just kind of continued to like work out as usual, sleep, just do my daily routine and try to not put any focus or emphasis or pressure on myself during those 2 weeks until I got the call.
So traditionally, like, we're at home, P-test, the whole thing. Is that the same for you, or they call you?
No, everything is like now in their hands.
So this whole experience is different, right?
Yeah.
From what I experienced, right? We were kind of I think we're the atypical, which is like, hey, wife pees on the stick. Yeah. Maybe I pee on it, maybe I don't. Yeah. And then we find out we're pregnant. Yeah. Not the same for you.
No, not this time. Not this pregnancy.
We're waiting weeks. How many weeks?
2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks.
They're like, we're going to give you a call. We're basically going to detect it in your blood work. You're going to come in, you're going to get blood work. And if it takes, we're going to call you. Okay. And you're going to have to come back and like start, basically you're pregnant. Wow. You're going to be under our care for the next 13 weeks before we release you to your regular doctor. So
at this point, you're still drinking. We're having a good old time. You're training, you're boxing, you're working out. Yeah. There's no pandemic. This is October 2019. I'm just trying to paint the picture here.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about, since you're not looking at a dipstick, you're waiting for a fucking phone call, right? You get a phone call. What is that like? Is Alex there? Is he not there? Are you guys doing this together? What happened?
They gave me no date, no time. Like, I had no idea. I'm home alone. I get a phone call from the doctor. I see their name pop up.
What are you thinking?
I said, I'm not going to answer it. I was on the phone with my mom, and I said, I'm not answering it. I'm going to let them leave a voicemail. And she goes, I'll never forget. She's like, they're not going to leave your results in a voicemail, so you're going to have to, like,
that's kind
face
of,
this.
That's not the way you want to find out.
No,
right?
It's not. But I'm so, like, this nervous energy.
What were you nervous for? Were you nervous for them to say no?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was not expecting, with my chances being so low, I was not expecting a yes. Right. So she's like, hang up with me, take the call, and, call me back. And I get the call, and all they said was, all right, we're going to see you in 2 weeks, or in 2 days. You have to come in for your blood work. We'll see you in 2 days. And I completely blacked out to the point that I hung up the phone, and I had to call them back and say, did you just say it was positive? Like, it took and that it worked?
I think they need places like that need to get better at delivering news, right? It's like, look, you're probably desensitized. You hear this all day long. You make 20 fucking phone calls a day telling mostly, women that, hey, yes, no, see you in 2 days, see you in 2 weeks. It's like, there should be some sensitivity, I think, attached to that, I think.
Yeah.
So, like, hey, you want to brace yourself? Maybe have a seat. I'm going to give you some great news right now.
Yeah, she could have teed it up a little bit, which is good. I mean, I guess I was so excited. I just literally blacked out.
There's no,
I was by myself. I was like sweating. I remember standing up, crying.
Where's Alex?
He's at work. He's on the road. My first phone call that I made to him, screaming, crying, like, oh my gosh, it worked. I think he was like, okay, hold on, I have to pull over. This is awesome. I don't think either one of us, I think we were just bracing ourselves for like a few times. Like, I knew at the end of the day we could become parents in some capacity, but like how and when was, not up to us.
Right. You finding out, I want to touch on that because, for me, it was very emotional. What was it for you?
Me as well. I mean, Did
you cry?
Oh yeah, I'm a crier, like as is by default. But I was super emotional, and I was home by myself, so I didn't feel like I got to
fully let it out.
Yeah. And I think he did the same. And just started like my rounds of phone calls, like Alex, my mom, my dad, girlfriends. Had to kind of let everyone know.
Hit that top 5 real quick.
Yeah.
Here's where we're at.
My favorites on my phone.
Right. Hit the favorites.
But I was so emotional and just like, oh my gosh, like, we did it.
Okay.
Like, we did it. Now it's like, okay, is he going to stick? Is he going to be okay?
So that's sort of the next thing. It's like, okay, we found out we're pregnant. And this would be very normal for a lot of people, right? It's like, we found out we're pregnant. We want to wait to tell people, right? Totally. Let's get past that first trimester sort of thing. That there's a stickiness rate that increases the longer you're pregnant, right? And I say stickiness rate, it's like a fucking tech term, but it's a stickiness rate of like you increase of the likelihood of you having that baby. It becomes better and better, more and more. And so you're waiting more and more to all right, is this really happening? They said yes. And you're basically in your first trimester.
I'm in my first trimester.
How do you feel?
I feel excited, like butterflies, nervous
But
at that
physically,
point.
like, did you get the first trimester?
Oh, yeah. So I didn't have the luxury of like waiting to tell people because I was at the doctor's office so often that I'll never forget. Like I was super, super sick for 13 weeks straight.
What kind of sick? Just use adjectives. What are we looking at?
Throwing up
Ooh.
nonstop.
Are you loud? Do you throw up loud? Are you loud?
Not loud, but you know, it's like there's not a lot in your system going on in the morning, and it's morning sickness for a reason. Yep. And so it's like very aggressive because, you know, I haven't even like eaten yet. And it's
dry heaving and oh man.
Nonstop. Yeah. I think I like would wake Alex up with it every morning.
So you're nauseous?
I'm nauseous and I'm driving to work at this point because we're still in office, no COVID yet.
Right.
And they were like a very environmentally friendly company. So I remember that every like 5 rows, I was like in cubicle and office space, had a trash can. And I was like, I'm going to be sick. I'm getting sick here every day. I can't run to this trash can in front of everyone and throw up. So I made I told maintenance. And maintenance was so helpful and sweet. I was like, I'm so sorry. This is super weird. I'm pregnant and I'm going to need like a little trash can under here because I can't, you know, run and disrupt this whole floor every time I'm getting sick. So it was that often and aggressive that I was like packing snacks in my little baggie every day in the car, had plastic bags, and then eventually a trash can under my desk.
Did you throw up pretty often or dry heave pretty often?
Yeah, 13 weeks straight.
That was your vibe?
That was me.
That was all me. Let's talk about cravings. My wife loves chocolate. I knew it was fucking real when I brought some chocolate home. She didn't want to touch it or eat it. And I was
like something's off.
This is fucking real. If anybody turns on chocolate, you know this is. So what were some of your cravings? And was there anything like you couldn't even stand anymore that you usually...
Yeah, I think for both pregnancies, like meat for whatever reason, any sort of meat and
poultry,
salad.
Chicken,
everything was just like, don't want that. I don't want to cook it, look at it, smell it. Like, I'm not interested in that at all.
Okay.
And for me, what really hit was like a Happy Meal. Still does. I mean, I like it not pregnant, but like it was another level of commitment pregnant.
What do you get the Happy Meal? What's your move?
So in the morning,
it better be dirty. Talk to me.
If I was going for breakfast, it was going to be like a biscuit, egg, and cheese, and a black coffee. And then if I did like 2 a days, this is probably why I gained so much weight. Then it was a kid's
if you're at McDonald's twice a day.
That was me. That was my craving.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
And
I'll
then
put you on the podcast.
Oh my gosh. And then it was a Happy Meal. And it was a cheeseburger, fries, and a Diet Coke. Almost like every day. It was like the one thing I could like keep down and sounded good and like settled my stomach.
Felt good.
It worked.
Happy Meal. You get the toy?
I got a toy.
You gave it to her?
I just saved him.
Have a baby.
I saved him
just saved it for him.
Yeah.
So cravings and some things you didn't want to eat. Let's go into the second trimester.
Yeah.
Typically, right? Like, you know, you have this conversation. Things get a little bit better for you. Yeah. You're not as nauseous. Yeah. You can start to maybe feel more like yourself. Was that the case for you?
You know, a little bit. I was like, okay, I'm at a turning point. Like, I'm going to be less tired, less sick. And then I go into the doctor and they're like, well, you're experiencing like a few complications. Nothing like major, but stuff we want to keep kind of eyes on. So I had been on like bed rest and kind of had to like chill for 13 weeks while I was under their care. Now I got hit with placenta previa and marginal cord insertion, which means that your cervix is like a little bit blocked by the placenta, which they don't want to see. It eventually cleared itself, so it was okay. But again, like more monitoring, more testing. Let's not work out. Let's not walk. Like just
the
chill.
No workout stuff. So I remember clearly. You know, we're at the studio and pregnant, all that stuff. It's like, I can't.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore.
I just can't risk it. Right? Yeah. Not only is it expensive and pricing, things like that too, but clearly I need to like just do the minimum. Yeah. Right? And so you went into that pregnancy kind of working out and then you just all of
a sudden, like 13 weeks, like we're going to stop. Yeah. And obviously like you want to do the best, you know, for your baby. I'm being told like there's some things that we're looking at. There's some complications. Placenta previa, marginal cord insertion, which means like his umbilical cord is kind of where it's not supposed to be. They want to make sure he's getting enough nutrients and growing. So it's like more monitoring, more testing. All
scary stuff.
All scary things.
You go to those like doctor appointments and checkups, when they start using these big fucking words, I'm like, dude.
And every week, you know, like they're checking for something.
I know. It's always something.
We're measuring something, looking at something.
Yeah.
And
it's great. I mean, glad that we have the technology and the know-how to do that stuff. But sometimes it's a lot to take in when you start using these big words, big terms that we don't quite understand. It's like, oh, well, the umbilical cord is off to the right. Okay, is that good or bad?
Right. What does that mean?
Well, it's not great. But it's like, okay, but and then if you're a new to pregnancy, you're like, wait, what? What do I got to do? But if you had a couple kids, like, it's all good. They're just keeping me in the know.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So we're in our second trimester. Things are kind of whatever. They get a little bit better for you physically. Are you throwing up still?
No, I'm not throwing up anymore. Now we've moved into like heartburn. I'm getting like leg cramps in the middle of the night. The weight gain is there now. You know, I'm like buying new clothes and like starting to like waddle a little bit and like figure out just kind of like my new routine.
What month are we in now? We're in 2020. Let's just do this. We're in 2020. Pandemic happens. Everybody's fucking locked down. We're all at home. Right? Trying to figure this shit out. I can get next to you. I can't get next to you. In the beginning, no one was wearing masks.
Right.
And then we went to the mask. Those don't work. No mask. All these different things. The whole time, everyone's at home. Oh, you're still going to the doctors, right? Still going to the doctors. It got really interesting around that time. I got sent home from work. Everyone's having their like Zoom happy hours. I can't drink. I can't go out and do anything, obviously. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a really good time being in my last, trimester to just kind of like hang out, chill, do some puzzles, whatever. But what got hard was, like all of a sudden Alex couldn't be in any appointments with me, couldn't go to anything. Even some of my things got canceled. All of our birthing classes and CPR and all the trainings and things that we were kind of anticipating had signed up for. Everything was like shut down overnight. It felt like. Any complications other than the constant checkups or the monitoring? I get that. Anything else happen along the way where you were like a close call? Yeah, so I think like the last interesting thing of my pregnancy, just to like top it all off, was I was like one of the first people during that time, right? Like now everyone has gotten sick at some point, but 37 weeks pregnant, I'm like not feeling good. I'm a little congested, but it's really common to get colds and your body's all out of whack like while you're pregnant. And I tested positive for COVID a few times, like multiple times. Did Alex get it too? You guys had it together? Right. We all had it. And I was like, great, like this is awesome. All of the testing and things that I had to do right before I deliver at 37 weeks, I'm about to go in 3 weeks. The doctor's office doesn't want to see me anymore, but I require testing because of what's going on in my system. Right. And so now they're like, okay, we're going to switch everything over to Hogue. Like you're going to go to the hospital every other day for the next 3 weeks. You're going to go up the service elevator because you're not well enough to like even see people and go face to face. Even though at this point, like I'm feeling fine, feeling okay, mild case. I'll never forget. I'm like in there, they're testing. And they like put me in like almost like a hazmat suit. They're in those suits. I felt like I was like on ET, just being super protective for me and the baby. And we didn't know, how severe things were going to get at that point. But that was kind of the last piece before. So third trimester, right? This is it. How do you feel? Third trimester? I feel ready. I feel good. I'm not sleeping, uncomfortable. Like, we're just walking every day because there's nothing else to really do. And Are you waddling at this time? Yeah, waddling. Is more weight starting to come on now, right? Baby starting to drop. Pressure down below. Were you peeing a lot? Peeing constantly. All the time. In the middle of the night? 5 times in the middle of the night. I know this. Waking poor Alex up. I know. Going on walks, waddling around. We'd have to like walk up a hill and he would like push my back like all the way up the hill because I was like trying to be active and do something. Lower back pain? Lower back pain. All the things. I feel like I had all the things. Super uncomfortable, but just obviously getting super excited at that point too to like, okay, like it's like really excited. And did you get to the point where you're like, I'm just fucking done. I'm ready to have this baby. Being pregnant is not. I was so grateful, and that's where like my emotions. I was kind of, I was torn between feeling really grateful for this opportunity and it working and being a parent, but also at the same time living it and breathing it every day for 40 weeks is extremely uncomfortable. So there's what you're feeling is like, I'm very grateful for everything that's happened, right? It's a miracle in the way that, and due to science and maybe the man upstairs, if that's your thing too as well, you put those together and then you get pregnant. But then you're like, fuck, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking ready to have the baby. And I think we can both agree that both those feelings can simultaneously exist. Right? I just want to, that's my perspective, that's my view, and this is one man's view, of course. But I think that you can be torn, right? I think you can be like, fuck, I'm ready for this damn baby to come out because I'm tired, exhausted. I kind of want my own life and I want to meet the baby.
Yeah.
But at the same time, be very grateful for the process, just the ability to get pregnant and the way that you guys had to go about it and everything during COVID and stuff. So I want to go right into, all right, you guys have a date, right?
Yeah, so we ended up getting induced because of everything kind of going on. They're like, we're going to take the baby at 39 weeks.
When was the date? When was the due date?
The due date was the 21st of July.
When did he come?
July 17th.
So 4 days earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got induced.
Right. You got induced. You go down there. They do their thing. Is he allowed in the room or he's not?
Yeah, he is at that point. Yeah.
It's still, because it's June, right?
Yeah, it's June or July, but we had both tested because we had COVID 3 weeks prior.
Post-test is not negative. That's all good. You guys both get there.
Can't have any friends, can't have any family, no doula, no birthing coach, like nothing, just us.
Bare minimum, right? Is the house set up? Is the crib? Is the car seat in?
Oh yeah, we had our car seat.
This is all fucking better than mine already.
Yeah, we had our car seat.
Car seat's ready.
Yeah.
You know,
I made a list with due dates, and poor Alex, like every time we come home from work, and I was like, okay, put the swing together, put the crib together, put this together. Like there was always a project, like every single week of something.
Yeah.
But it's your first, and you want to get it all
down,
set it up and ready.
I felt that. I wanted that. Oh, it's your first. Get all ready, dialed in. You guys already know my story. I have shit ready.
Yeah.
But you guys seem to have everything ready, and that seems to help.
Yeah.
First kid, first anything. Both of you are experiencing this for the first time.
Yeah.
You're in the room, and vaginal, right?
Yeah.
Very traditional way. Did you get an epidural?
Oh, hell yes.
Fuck yeah.
At 3, I always thought I was like, I can take pain, no big deal. I'll wait till I'm 8 centimeters. At 3, I was like,
all the drugs.
What can I take?
Give me all of it.
Yeah, give me a pre-drug, a pre-epidural, a post.
Give me the drip. The button you get, the morphine.
Anything.
Yeah.
I just figured I want to be as, comfortable and as at peace, bringing him into the world as possible. And at that point, I was in so much pain. This is what was going to help me do it.
So he's in the room, obviously.
Yeah.
He's helping. He's holding your hand. He's doing all the things he needs to be doing. But a lot of stuff he didn't get coached up on because he wasn't out. They probably didn't offer those classes during that time, right?
Him and the nurses were super supportive. What can we get you? What can we do?
Yeah.
He wanted to be in there too. He wanted to see it all go down.
I was down there. I want to see it all. It's a lot, but I want to see it all. I want to be a part of it. I want to do it. Yeah. There's an internal instinct, I think, for men that have been around their wives. I think there's a pheromone that your wife lets off when it's go time. This is my own theory, of course, but that you want to be involved. You want to be there. You want to be there for the birth of your son and your daughter and coming out. You want to be a part of it. You want to experience it more than anything. I wanted to feel that. I wanted to be there with her. Yeah. One thing I didn't want to do was switch places with her.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
for sure.
No one does.
Hell no. Here comes the baby. It's time to push, contract, all those things that are happening. You're dilated 9 centimeters.
Yeah, I'm at they kept coming in, checking.
I know. Let me tell you a quick fucking story about centimeters, which I had no fucking clue about. We have our baby shower, my wife and I, and we're doing these little fun games. And one of the games is sort of like a pop quiz. And they said, some people that remember this, they said, all right, Andre, how many centimeters do you have to be dilated till it's pretty much go time? I have no clue. I didn't study in reading fucking books.
Yeah.
I went to 0 seminars. I grew up around no children, no babies. So of course I say 42 centimeters. That just seems about right. That is the right
just
number.
Sounds like a good number.
And then someone in the background was like, "What is she delivering? An elephant?" And I was like, "What?" But now I know that's not the number. That's about 10, right?
10, yeah.
10, right? So you're at 9, 10. It's go time. How long are you pushing for?
I pushed for 2.5 hours.
Is that a long time?
It's a long time.
I
think every hospital
30 minutes,
has a different.
an hour?
That's the interesting stuff about birth is everyone has a different, time frame. I know with my second, it was 3 minutes. So 2.5 hours. And at this point,
Are you in pain?
My epidural was not working at this point. I knew that for a fact.
They hit you with the second one?
No, I didn't advocate for myself. I didn't know kind of what was going on. I was already ready to go. I didn't know what was available to me. I just knew I was in pain, but I thought that's normal. Like you're about to give birth. I was vomiting. Like I look like the exorcist all over the room. Vomiting, sweating. I had to have my mask on. I'm in a mask.
Oh no.
I'm like, I need to take this off. I'm, getting sick everywhere and just super uncomfortable. And Alex is like, what can I do? Like, what can I do? Like, he just sees my face.
We feel so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the shit you guys fucking go through.
Yeah.
No one talks about it. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like really fucked up. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But you guys get destroyed for the women that are really in there. Whether it's 2 pushes and out or 2.5 hours, 4 hours. It's like the shit that happens to your body. It's like things start shifting around your body, in your organs, hips open up. Yeah. Your body knows that it's time to deliver a fucking human being. And the things that are happening to you physiologically, right? Incredible. It's magic. Yeah. It's very bizarre, but it's very beautiful. And so these things start to happen to your body. And here comes Axel. Head first, sideways, what?
He was head first, but the funny part is, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like the doctor doesn't come in until like the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
what's that
Before
about?
you're going to deliver, which is like a misconception.
What's that about?
It's like you're with the nurses. They're like the real
Every
heroes.
movie I've ever seen, the fucking doctors with you the whole time. So, and both time we had the kids, like, where's the doctor? I want the guy who delivers the baby. He literally just pokes his head in. You guys need me? No.
Yeah.
30 minutes later, you guys need me? No. And then you got the 2 nurses and the midwife there helping out the whole time. You're like, no, I want the guy who gets paid $500,000 a year.
Where's my doctor?
In the room. When you guys charge my insurance, I want that guy here. They're never there.
Well, they were like, you're 10 centimeters. I see my doctor come in. So I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Like, it's ready to go.
So if you're expecting your doctor to be there the whole time with you, just know.
You got 5 minutes with her.
Yeah.
And she pokes her head in and she looks at what's going on and she leaves. So I was like, okay.
They do the fingers?
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah. And she leaves and I was like, what is going on? Like, that's not supposed to happen. Well, his head was like stuck under my pelvic bone. So it ended up being another 2.5 hours before she showed her face again. So we were just pushing. I'm dry heaving. I'm in the most pain I've ever been in my life. I felt like the only way I could describe it was like my body being like chopped in half or like being like run over by like a train. Like just very excruciating pain.
What are we complaining about? What are men complaining about?
But in the back of my mind, still like, I'm so grateful. I'm going to meet my son. I'm about to have a baby.
All the things.
There's so many mixed emotions.
I know.
I'm like trying to calm myself down.
Head's coming out first or legs?
Head's coming out. Alex is in there with the camera, recording photos. He got the whole like National Geographic style.
I'm not there. But got it.
Photos, which are really cool to like look back on. I highly recommend it.
So here he comes. Boom. Alex gets the opportunity, right, to do that thing.
Pulls him out.
What is the initial, is it nothingness? Is it a lot of, it's all the emotions? Is it love? Is it?
For me, it was everything. It was like, oh my gosh, like the pain, like just, I remember like the pressure and the pain relief in itself, I think was just like, oh my gosh, like I can breathe again.
And then you see the baby.
Yeah. And then getting him in my arms. He's like a little like vernixy baby all covered. You know,
and they do skin to skin.
Immediately on your chest.
Right on your chest.
Which I got to do. I'm so grateful for.
Did you cry?
Oh yeah.
What'd you feel?
Just like my life had just kind of restarted. Like I was born again, like into this new person with like a new calling.
Yeah.
But I feel like you think about it for 40 weeks, but like you can't prepare yourself for like what that really is going to feel like. You hear his first cry, he's breathing, everything was good. His umbilical cord's about to be cut, by dad. So it's just like a lot of mixed feelings all at once, like in one burst of emotion.
Alex is right there with you the whole time. Is he crying? Is he emotional?
Yeah, he's crying. I think he's like, what the hell just happened? What did I just witness?
It fucking hits you so hard. Especially if you're a significant other that's involved through the whole process, right? From day one, and you don't leave your woman, right? And you're there and you experience it with them. It's so emotional. Yeah. It's a feeling that I'm glad I cannot totally completely describe it. Yeah. Because if there's something that I can completely describe to you, it ain't that magical. Yeah. This is one thing that I cannot completely there isn't enough adjectives or adverbs to like really explain what that is. And I'm glad there isn't. Yeah. You have to experience it. You don't have to, but if you do, you should be there in the room because it's incredible. So you're emotional and you're crying. This is it. You've brought life into this world. And then all these flashbacks of like, dude, we couldn't get pregnant a year and a half, and the finances that follow that. And then finally you get a phone call, and then, well, let's wait a little bit longer. COVID happens. Nobody could be with you. You're by yourself on an island, you and Alex, right? It's like, we're talking the heart of the pandemic, not like 2022. It's like, we're in it. We're for sure home. No one's going out. It's a ghost town, right? You have all those feelings. It's like, makes it so much worth it.
Yeah, like I did it. Like I crossed the finish line. Yeah. We did it successfully. He's like happy, healthy, just, you know, so excited to be there.
So that's an incredible story. We'll do a quick one, right? Because it's really about the first experience, right? Which you cannot duplicate, I don't think. So we have a second boy. 8 weeks ago, we just said that 8 weeks ago.
Brand new.
IVF, AIU, what do we do?
ASU. No,
ASU,
completely
whatever.
The opposite. Like you hear all those stories of like secondary, you know, people can't get pregnant, and then all of a sudden, you know, we go to Disneyland one day, I'm feeling good, take the day off, have a few drinks.
Yeah, let's go.
And a few weeks later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm late.
Yeah.
I feel something going on in my body. What is going on? I've never experienced this before because my last one was so different than this.
And so thought out, so like,
planned. Again, like don't make a plan.
Full disclosure, were you guys planning this one?
Not at all.
Yeah. Yes, but like maybe down the road.
Down the road, and honestly, I was so kind of challenged and still in the moment with the first, him being what I think like not even 2 at this point, that I was like, oh, I'm good. Like if we're gonna have another, maybe like 3-4 year age gap, like I'm good with that. I did not want to jump back into it at all. Which like in hindsight, like 2.5 years is a good amount of time, and it all worked out. But it was crazy, and initially I was not thrilled. I was, which made me feel bad because I prayed and like wanted, you know, my first pregnancy so bad. I had to try so hard, and I was so nervous of the like reality of the second, and it not being my timing at all, and just so caught off guard, I think, really in reality by the whole thing. That Alex was really supportive and was like, this is a good thing. Like, why are you crying? Why are you so emotional? Like, it's fine. Like, we can do this. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm not ready. So it was just completely like night and day.
You're such a planner.
Too,
And not planning this. Not planning this miracle. It's like probably torn emotions again. It's like very happy, very thankful, very blessed that I'm at the moment, like, seems like this is gonna stick. This baby's gonna hold. And we didn't go the other route, the first route we went. So that's a miracle in itself. So I could see, again, you can have these mixed emotions.
They can both exist
at the same time. You can sit in both of them for sure.
I kept thinking, like, what is this? Like, what is going on? And my mom's like, it's okay to have complicated feelings around big things. It's not bad. It's not good. And I remember at the studio, even like one day I was like really distraught over it. And
I remember.
Some of the girls were like, you know, I felt the same way. Like, I think as women, like especially if you've had complications with, you know, prior pregnancies, you're expected to like be really, really grateful and so excited and happy about something, and that's just not always the case. And simultaneously, like, two things can be happening at once. You can be grateful and excited. I knew I was going to have this baby and it was going to be great, but I had to like really process it in my own way and like soak it in, because initially I was just I think in shock and like denial of it.
Perfect baby boy. Came out all good. Same hospital, same process. A little bit different experience because now there's, you know, things have lifted. Or, you know.
Exactly. Much more social. I was in the gym this time.
And this time you were fucking working out hardcore. I think you took a boxing class maybe the day before, 2 days prior to having Rome.
All the way
which is a way different experience. So we have two different experiences. One where like we're on lockdown, you're not even working out, they told you not to. Don't risk it. The second one's like, I'm going into this the best shape that I can be in. And then do you think you being in great shape helped with not only the delivery, but more importantly, the recovery process for yourself?
Both mentally and physically. I felt like this time I was like, just prepared. I was like, I'm going to do as much as I can, as best as I can, for as long as I can. And just, you know, and just be really ready for that moment.
Yeah.
And this delivery was like night and day. Epidural worked, pushed him out, 3 pushes, I think 10 minutes total. Felt good, happy.
Yeah.
Just so much different, so much better, I think. And a lot of that, I think, people do all sorts of workouts, Pilates, yoga, just really prepare your body and like ligaments for all of that. And I think that it really worked out in my favor this time.
Damn.
Yeah.
You have such a great story. And I think a lot of people are going to resonate with this story too. And I think a lot of people are going to identify. More importantly, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are walking into your story, right, for the first time.
Yeah.
The level of expectations, right? What it looks like, what it feels like, what it may possibly end up being like. And then the second one being a total miracle, both being miracles, but like in a different miracle form way, right? That's incredible. I think you have a great story. I think this is going to be educational for a lot of people too as well. I want to thank you so much for coming on this little cast that we got going on. And again, I'm trying to bring awareness. I want to get different stories from different people, because people have different experiences. You have a different experience than the few people I've already interviewed, including my wife. So these are great. And I'm trying to ask the questions as they come along. And I got some experience having 2 kids, not my own, but but my own. So I want to make sure I'm asking the right things too as well. Do you have anything for me? Anything for your viewers?
No, I just hope that, if people, I knew that at that time, like I didn't see any successful stories that route. And so I think, like I told you, I think at the beginning of the interview, like people still ask me all the time, what doctor did you use? What was the process like? How many times did you have to do it? So like if I can let somebody else know that it works, it's successful, and that you can have all different types of experiences at different times in your life. Like, I'm a success story in that.
Oh, for sure, which is good. And I think the moral of this story, what we're hearing right now, is this: it's if you're trying really, really hard to get pregnant, if you're doing all the things, you're doing the stuff at the house, right? You're doing the in vitro, the IUA, whatever the fuck ever. I don't know. Give yourself a little grace.
Yeah. Now
Give yourself a little grace.
I lean into everything now. It's like my new mantra. I'm just like, I'm going to just lean into it, see where things go.
Absolutely. Give yourself a little grace, settle into who you are. Make sure you have the people that truly love you and care about you around you as much as possible, and be around them too as much as possible. And you can still do all those things. But at the end of the day, as always, nobody fucking cares anyway. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I want to thank you, Erin, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I think it's been a great story, and I look forward to the next one. Thank you guys. I'm doing this podcast for a lot of different reasons, but more than anything, I want to get perspective on new mothers, current mothers, mothers that are excited, mothers that are indifferent, mothers that are looking to be incredible moms. I want to get all those emotions, all those feelings, all those conversations on the table, all to say that at the end of the day, nobody fucking cares.